Hello everyone, and today we are at Tantallon Castle in Scotland. Tantallon Castle is a ruined mid-14th century fortress located 5 kilometres east of North Berwick in East Lothian, Scotland. It sits atop a promontory opposite the base rock, looking out onto the Firth of Forth. The last medieval curtain wall castle to be constructed in Scotland, Tantallon comprises a single wall blocking off the headland, with the other 3 sides naturally protected by sea cliffs. Tantallon was built in the mid-14th century by William Douglas, 1st Earl of Douglas. It was passed to his illegitimate son, George Douglas, later created Earl of Andis, and despite several sieges, it remained the property of his descendants for much of its history. It was besieged by King James IV in 1491, and again by his successor James V in 1527, when extensive damage was done. Tantallon saw action in the First Bishops' War in 1639, and again during Oliver Cromwell's invasion of Scotland in 1651, when it was once more severely damaged. It was sold by the Marquis of Douglas in 1699 to Hugh Dalrymple, Lord North Berwick, and the ruin is today in the care of Historic Environment Scotland. Tantallon is a unique construction within Scotland, the defences comprising only a single large wall securing a coastal promontory. The southeast, northeast, and northwest approaches are naturally defended by steep sea cliffs and were only ever protected by relatively small defensive walls. To the southwest, a massive curtain wall blocks up the end of the promontory, which forms the inner courtyard. The curtain wall is built of the local red sandstone and has a tower at either end and a heavily fortified gatehouse in the centre, all of which provided residential accommodation. A north range of buildings, containing a hall, completed the main part of the castle, enclosing a courtyard around 70 by 44 metres in total. The buildings of the castle provided around 1,100 square metres of accommodation. In its form, Tantallon follows on from the 12th century castles of Bothwell and Clodrummy as a castle of Ensign, or curtain wall castle. It was the last of this type to be built in Scotland, as the smaller tower house was becoming increasingly popular. For example, Threave Castle, built at around the same time by Earl William's cousin Archibald the Grim, is a much more modest tower. There are also similarities between Tantallon and courtyard castles, such as Down, which also dates from the late 14th century, and is entered by a passage beneath a strong keep tower. The curtain wall is over 15 metres high, 3.6 metres thick, and around 90 metres long. There are several small chambers within the walls, and stairs with arched ceilings accessing the parapet wall. This parapet wall, beneath the 16th century crenels of the curtain wall, connects the 3 towers. The northwest tower, known as the Douglas Tower, was circular in plan and 12 metres across, although the west side has collapsed. 7 stories high, this tower would have formed the Lord's donjon, or keep, containing his private accommodation and connecting to the hall in the north range. The lowest story was a pit prison, and the timber-floored chambers above were square, with vaulted guardraobes or privies. The east tower is of deep plan, with the curved face outwards, and is 9 metres across. Originally consisting of 5 stories, the bottom 3 were reduced to 2 after the 1528 siege, by the insertion of stone vaults. Large gun ports were also added in the basement at this time. The third floor of the tower was designed to have access to a parapet on the southeast wall, although this wall was never built. The central gatehouse tower is square, 13 metres across and up to 24 metres high. It contained 4 stories of chambers, some with canopied fireplaces, although the internal walls and floors are now missing. The main entrance ran through a passage below, protected by a drawbridge, 3 pairs of doors, a portcullis, and matched calations, holes in the ceiling enabling the defenders to drop whistles onto intruders below. There are 2 bartizans, or corner turrets, facing in toward the courtyard, where a 16th century spiral stair gives access to the head of the curtain wall. The entrance was originally via a pointed arched gateway, flanked by round towers. A defensive barbican, or outer gate, was added in the early 14th century and was destroyed in the 1528 siege, although fragments can still be seen. After the siege, the facade of the gatehouse was rebuilt, with more gun ports at ground level, and the gateway corridor was narrowed. The rebuilding covered up the remains of the earlier round towers, narrowed the main gate, and gave the tower rounded corners for additional strength. The north range of buildings, around 10 by 40 meters, is connected to the Douglas Tower. The western section dates from the 14th century and comprises the remains of the Great Hall used by the Lord over the former Lade, or low hall used by the labourers and later divided to form cellars. The marks of the hall's pitched roof can be seen on the inside wall of the Douglas Tower. The 16th century eastern section contained a bakehouse and further private chambers and has partially collapsed into the sea. Only a small section of the other walls remains to the east and contains a postern gate, giving access to the sea through a cleft in the cliffs below. The well is 32 meters deep and was re-excavated in the 19th century. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you all soon.